Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Week 10 Gillcast, all-time low-scoring week. The winner of the Millionaire Maker scored 176 points. There's been weeks where you can't cash in the massive $50 double-up with 176 points. Really unbelievable stuff in the NFL today. Every team just kind of wet themselves all simultaneously. We are going to break that down in our DraftKings cash game lineups. We're going to take a look at some tournaments. It's the Week 10 Gillcast. It's Short King Summer, dude. It just feels like no one in fantasy sports ever learns anything. Does he mistime it, or is Brock Bowers just a grown man? Brock Bowers is just a grown man. Dare I say, Rich, football might be back. In the words of Lane Johnson, this offense looks constipated. It's Short King Summer. All right, boys. We're here. God, man, the winner of all the tournaments today, their guys were done in the third quarter. Games just didn't matter today. Although I will say,
Jalen Hurts, Millie winner.
No, Brock Purdy, George Kittle single stack, no bring back on the Millie Maker. It was Giant Squid from SaberSim was the shipper. He played Noah Brown, 8 points from Noah Brown. I mean, just really, like, if you look across the scores today, I would say the Sim Bros probably had a pretty great day because there were some pretty clear chalk spots that failed. Not that chalk is bad, but what a day, man. The Chiefs winning on at this point, I like actively, like, I kind of want them to lose. Like, I don't.
The reverse Mattek mush was so strong. Like, is there like time they don't get away with it? For sure.
I couldn't believe. I mean, I can believe that Andy didn't let them score, but I guess that's the thing when you're Andy Reid and you are just dealing with all of this. This is a good point from Joe. It is kind of the first time that that a Chiefs win was actually kind of fun because it was so undeserved. Like, it was just like, sure, why not? Like, Mahomes running out in the field yelling because Leo Chanel blocked. I believe it was Leo Chanel blocked the kick. I mean, yeah,
I'm just really know a defensive player. That's pretty awesome.
Sammy, your team won today on a hard count. How fucking Pittsburgh Steelers is that?
You know, you just got to know how to play the game, and apparently Russell Wilson does. Congrats to him, although he didn't go over 207.5 passing yards, which cost me a pretty penny, in the forced parlay streets.
Getting that call, though, was the most clear. It was the most obvious thing of all time. When they're coming back out, it's just like, they're not going to snap this. And
yeah, of course.
I mean, what a meltdown.
You know, it's so funny because you always think about this when that play happens. I'm like, yeah, but if you call the play, the defense is going to be a half a second late. So you should actually go for it, you know? But then that gets in the defense's head. Then the defense starts thinking, oh, they're going to fake it. And then they're going to go. And then it's poker, right? It's level on top of level.
But the equity of potentially getting the penalty plus the likelihood of converting 1 yard, plus the likelihood of catching the defense, waiting half a second because they're not trying to get a penalty. I mean, yeah, 4th and 1 should just be an automatic go for it. But that play, you knew they weren't going to actually snap it. So ridiculous.
Caleb Williams, bro. How are we feeling? For the people who don't know,
I'm liking Caleb Williams because I played the New England defense who sacked him. Was it 9 times?
I played. Well, let's not spoil anything from the lineups yet. Let's let Nate do his Caleb Williams bit.
Yeah, let's hear it, Nate.
It's less about Caleb Williams for me and more about the Chicago Bears coaching staff. I mean, Waldron needs to be gone.
They're terrorists, bro. Shane Waldron is a terrorist.
It's unbelievable. I think Caleb will be fine. I've seen enough from Caleb this year that
I agree with this still.
I'm not worried. I'm not
agree.
worried long term, but they need to get the rest of this year figured out. They need to they need to let Waldron go immediately.
Needs to let Keenan Allen go. Keenan Allen can't be soaking up those targets, dude. He is dust. Big dust. Gotta go.
What I can't believe is that this is the third time the Bears have done this. They've had an opportunity to clean house with the coaching staff when they draft a rookie quarterback, and they've learned nothing. They learned up. They're like, no, Eberflus, dude, bring him back. Bring him back.
I mean, I don't want to get too down a rabbit hole, but it's a problem in the entire NFL. The fact that Shane Waldron, he'll lose this job and he'll immediately be hired.
He'll get another.
These guys just, no matter what they do, there's just no accountability in the league whatsoever. Once you're in, you're qualified for the rest of your life, and you have to do something egregious to not be rehired. I mean, there's just no accountability. The turnover is not where it needs to be, and we just don't get fresh takes in the NFL, and it's really frustrating.
It is very frustrating. All right, guys, let's get into it. So I actually thought today was this was not a prove it slate to me. Thought it was a pretty difficult day to figure out what to do in cash. I really thought there were 2 guys in play at quarterback. I thought there were probably 6 running backs in play. I thought there was, honestly, I really only thought there was 2 tight ends in play. Nate played one of them that I never considered. I thought you could have played Kelsey, and I thought you could have played Taysom. Wide receiver was tricky because there were 3 guys who were this is, I just have the solver run on the optimal, and it did give a little bit of Ladd, a little bit of QJ, and 2 Khalil Shakir teams. But I mean, I thought the wide receivers were Downs, Mitchell, and Hopkins. But I for the life of me could not figure it out. Because look at these optimals. These optimals were not even a train. How often do you see this where the top ETR optimal is not even a huge train in cash?
Yeah, it was a very spread out week. I haven't seen it this spread out in a while. And I think part of it was I think normally we have high priced wide receivers that ownership condenses on, and that kind of makes the slate.
That was not the case this week.
And there was none of that. I mean, so it was a weird week in cash. I would agree that I think quarterback, there was really 2 main guys. It was
it was Herbert or Purdy.
Purdy or Herbert, and that ended up in the $25 double up. Purdy took 40% of the ownership and Herbert took 28. So that was pretty condensed. Running back was pretty open, and then wide receiver was
running back. I thought was really tricky. I thought running back. I was and I'm not going to spoil it, but I think Sammy did something that he should be applauded for when we get there. But look at this. The third optimal right here on ETR, 140.41, so 0.22 worse than the top optimal, includes one Mr. Christian McCaffrey. I promise you this, if the ball knowers at establishtheRun.com or at RotoGrinders, if they had put in 89% snap share, 80% rush share, 15% target share for CMC, we all would have played him. Everyone would have played him. And I played him a lot in tournaments because I felt pretty confident the snaps are going to be there. I don't do this very often, but I shut my stream down 10 minutes before lock this morning to go pick up Chipotle, and I swapped my team after I got off. I did not know what I was playing. I texted you guys at 11:58.
You were like, I don't know what to do. I'm lost. I'm like, bro, it's about to lock. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I did. I literally texted these guys 4 times in a row. No response from any of them. Really fucking helpful. I said, I'm feeling iffy on Brees. Basically, I have to decide Taysom Bears.
We're just hoping you do something stupid for the Gillcast, It's
I'm not going to ruin content 10 minutes before lock.
Then I said I might play Barkley, which spoiler, I did end up doing. Fuck, I'm lost. And then I'm not gonna spoil what Sammy did yet. But the TLDR here is I didn't play any of these teams. I did not play any of these top optimal teams for a couple different reasons. So let's go ahead and tab over there now. The team that I played Brock Purdy at quarterback. I played Saquon Barkley straight up over Alvin Kamara. I played Aaron Jones. I played James Conner. I played the 3 wide receivers that everyone played: Josh Downs, DeAndre Hopkins, A.D. Mitchell. I played Taysom Hill, who I don't think got the ball after the first quarter. He had a 34-yard reception and then 2 rushes in the first quarter, and I don't think he got the ball again.
It's weird. Once the Saints were up the whole time, they're like, "Nah, we're good on Taysom."
Nah, we're good. I mean, he was out. He got a quarterback, a wildcat rush from the 3-yard line or something, and didn't convert. It was like a 4th and short that they didn't get. And then I played the Bears defense. Hindsight is such a blessing and a curse. I actually had the Patriots in my cash team all day. I was just like, it's the Patriots. Caleb's eating all these sacks. They have not only were their top 2 tackles out, but their third tackle was also out. So their backup tackle was also out. They haven't scored a touchdown in a month. It was windy, it was cold, it was rainy, and I was just like, well, yeah, all these things apply to the Patriots too, and the projections want the Bears. What I was really afraid of was eating the Bears 55% owned immediate pick 6. Like, the slate starts and the chalk defense gets there, and you're like, well, my whole fucking day is ruined. Like, my whole day is ruined. So I did not go with my gut on that one. The thing I did, the gut calls here, I suppose, looking at ownership, were Barkley over Kamara. We could talk about that, if that was good or bad. And then the big thing I did that was different from the chalk was James Conner. James Conner was 24% owned, which in this day and age, a 24% owned guy in the massive $25 double up, that's the equivalent of playing like a 1% owned guy in.
Yeah, that's getting contrarian. That's contrarian.
This is a very anti-Davis lineup, I must say. Like, it's pay up at QB, which isn't like up, but it's like higher than needed to. Pay higher than you need to at defense, and then play James Conner, who was a very good play, but he's an old dusty running back.
Because you want to know the secret of the slate is that Breece Hall is fake. Breece Hall is fake value. I basically,
yes.
I was just like, I'm not clicking Breece Hall. I don't think I played him. Let me search so I don't lie. Yeah, I didn't play Breece Hall in a single tournament lineup either. Well, like I hated it. I hated.
Well, and let's parse that out, because I think Breece Hall is great. Breece Hall is a very talented player, but who's not great, and who is Rodgers leading this Jets team. It's
Braylon Allen. And Braylon Allen is I basically believe this. I truly, like, if you gave me truth serum, I'd be like, Braylon Allen is as good as Breece Hall.
They basically play 2 different positions, though.
Yeah,
what Breece does with his hands.
Correct.
And so I actually do think the Breece fade, if you want to say that, in cash is sharp. I think the Kamara fade was dumb. And I think I want to get into that a little bit.
It was. And it was because of exactly how it played out. Kamara had this awful floor game, and he got 15. Barkley had his floor game, and he got 8.
Davis had visions. He played Taysom Hill. He had visions of Taysom cucking Alvin Kamara twice at the goal
Sammy,
line.
You know me. We've been doing this. We've been doing this too long. We've been doing this too long. You know me too well. And basically, this was my thought process. I'm playing Taysom because Taysom is the lock, in my opinion. And if you're playing Taysom, that makes it more acceptable in a Taysom lineup to not play Kamara, because Taysom's outcome does affect Kamara's outcome. I'm not saying I'm right. I think pretty clearly I was wrong. Not even pretty. I was wrong. It was wrong to do. It was stupid. Because the way Barkley gets there is through efficiency, and that's just not how you play cash games. Barkley didn't have it. Barkley didn't break off a 65-yard touchdown. I didn't run bad that Barkley got 8 points. It just happens. They don't give him the ball inside the 5. Like, very clear. They could. They choose not to. Barkley over Kamara was bad.
Barkley for me is one of the hardest things to talk about this year, because I haven't played him at all, and obviously that's not been profitable. But he's not a good cash play, because at his price, there's always going to be guys with better volume around him. And basically what Kamara gets is, Kamara basically, what did he have last week? 30 without a touchdown. That workload is insane.
It's unreal.
When you have a guy who's getting that workload, you cannot fade him for a guy who, the only way Saquon gets there is these 40-yard touchdown runs. The touchdown.
Literally the only way he gets there, because he does not get there with goal line touchdowns.
Yeah, it's not through 1-yard touchdown runs. I'll tell you that.
And so you can't play a running back at this price and fade these other guys who get this volume. And so in cash games, I don't think he's playable. And then in tournaments, he's not playable because of his ownership.
Because he gets owned.
He's the second highest owned running back every week, or third highest owned running back. And so you can't play these efficiency guys in tournaments either, because that's what you want to play when everybody's playing bad volume. So, like, if there was a 50% ownership discount on Kamara in tournaments, I would say, yeah, it's sharp to play Barkley there. But we're not seeing that. We're actually seeing the reverse where Saquon is twice the ownership of Connor, of Kamara, of Bijan. Yeah. And it's like, so I think Barkley's a bad tournament play and a bad cash play right now. And so
I would love to tell you you're wrong. I would love for this to be a classic Gillcast argument, but it's not. Yeah, Kamara. Yeah. I mean, no one wanted to click Kamara today, except in cash, obviously.
Well, but Davis, I gotta say, this is a lot of maturity from you. Yeah, and just stepping up and taking this L, because you basically ate, what was it, like, Nate, 2 points of projection between Kamara and
like straight up, yeah, like 2 points
depending on the site, 2 or 4.
Kamara was only 50% cash for 2 reasons. The first is some people who came to this independently, like me. Other people, you'll see this in the Levitan cash game review. Levitan did the same thing. Levitan just straight up played Barkley over Kamara. I don't know if he played Brees. I don't know if he played the Herbert Brees version of this. I also do want to be clear. I won anyway. I cashed in the massive $25 double up.
What did people do?
We're a real result-oriented show here.
Yeah. What did people do that you cashed, Davis?
They didn't play Purdy, and they didn't play AD Mitchell. AD Mitchell was only 31.5% owned, one of the biggest gift spots of all time. He was only 31.5% owned.
I don't know if I'd call it that, but he did well.
He was definitely one of the best.
He got like 13 targets in a dome at 3,400. It was a gift. And Purdy was only 40% owned, and Connor was only 24% owned. So that's how I got there.
Yeah. Must be nice.
I don't know. Is anything else interesting? Well, I mean, I guess we should talk about Connor and Brees.
Yeah, like, you guys should talk about Connor, because I didn't really land on him. I thought he was a good play, but I just wasn't there.
Connor was the third best running back, in my opinion, of the slate. I think it was very clearly Kamara number 1. Obviously, Jones didn't get there, but I still think Jones was the second best running back play of the slate.
Sam Darnold. My God, Sam Darnold today.
And I think Connor was the third. I mean, Connor's workload is just different than these other guys.
And Benson even got a ton of work today, but it didn't matter.
But Benson got work when it was clear the game was not going to be close.
Yeah, if the game they got to save Connor's bones.
No, Benson was getting first quarter touches, but it doesn't matter because they're so dedicated to the run. It's like the Lions stuff.
Yeah, and they don't give Benson high value touches when they do. He's not getting goal line stuff. He's not getting third down stuff. Like, dude, they're giving him some between the 20s rushes just so Connor doesn't get 30 rushes a game or 30
and it's not touches. Empty volume for Connor either. He's actually like one of the most efficient running backs per touch in the league. He leads the NFL in forced tackles. Or forced missed tackles. He gets passing work. He's a great all-around guy. And so I thought he was very clearly the third best play of the slate.
Well, the other thing that Connor brings that, Barkley has trouble at the goal line because Hurts cucks him at the 1. Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier gets work around the goal line, right? Brees Hall, Braylon Allen gets work around the goal line. So we are not seeing like true bell cows, when you think like, oh, I'm going to get 70+% of the running back rushes, then goal line work, then passing down work. Connor's role in terms of like not getting cucked in some of those high value areas is kind of different than even some guys that are priced above him. So
no, it's true. And that's why the projections, it's like Connor's kind of one of those guys that the projections always likes more than the field does, because Connor has such a great workload, but like he doesn't have, his efficiency is fine, but he doesn't get there on efficiency, if that makes sense. Like he did have the 44-yard play today. I would wager that was by far his longest play of the year, basically. That is not how projections work, but go off, King. All right, Nate, let's talk about what you did. I gotta be honest. The Shakir play, man. I don't get it.
I gotta be honest. I was very much looking forward to what Nate sent us pre-lock, which was double tight end. And I was like, oh, let's go. Let's dunk on Nate. And then you switched it. And I'm really upset at you, Nate.
Yeah, Nate almost
you
played
do this
the
all the
double
time.
tight end.
Well, the double tight end team was actually good too. So like the double tight end team, I actually probably wish I played. But let's talk about this team. So Herbert for me was like one of the two. I thought it was Purdy or Herbert. Not much to talk about there. I mean, Herbert at 5,200 is just great value. Not much to talk about there. Kamara
He
Jones
is great value. Do you think about total ceiling outcomes at all? I'm not saying he was a bad play. I do not think he was a bad play at all. But like him getting 19 is like what he does. He's a really good bet to get 19, like kind of a bad bet to get 27 because they are positive PROE, but they're not high volume.
I mean, yeah, I get that, but I still think at 5,200, Herbert's got a ceiling for his price. Like,
He's
absolutely
so cheap. Cheap.
Yeah, no, Herbert was awesome. I'm not ripping a Herbert play at all.
So yeah, I don't know. Herbert, Purdy, I could have gone either way. It wasn't like the lineup wasn't built around Herbert.
Yeah,
Kamara Jones, Connor, talked about that. Felt really good about that. Downs and Mitchell. I think Mitchell was my number one wide receiver play of the week.
Absolutely.
And then Downs was the second. And then I think the other two plays are where I probably Bears D was a clear value.
Nate, were you because I was here, were you sitting looking at this lineup with Hopkins in it and trying to play the fucking Eagles defense? Because
Yes, I did look at the Hopkins thing quite a bit.
Oh my God, such a smash. Jesus. How many points did the Eagles defense scores? Like 17?
Like a billion. Yeah, they got a ton.
Something like that. It's tilting. So here's where I got different. And I actually do think Shakir versus Hopkins is worth discussing. I think that Buffalo without Coleman, without
and
Cooper. What? And Cooper. I really do think Buffalo volume was not properly accounted for in this wide receiver ownership. And I thought Shakir at this price, the ceiling was definitely there for Shakir. And did you
think about Ladd with this one?
Yeah, I thought about Ladd. Yeah. It was between Shakir, Hopkins, and Ladd. And I ultimately went Shakir Kincaid just because I really thought that Allen and the ceiling in Buffalo with such a clear, we know they're going to score points and it's going to be to these guys. And I thought that these guys were like $1,000, $2,000 mispriced. And so I did it. Where I've watched enough of the Chiefs this year where Hopkins, great value, but I could totally just see these Chiefs. I mean, the passing volume isn't necessarily guaranteed there. And there's just games where Mahomes, I don't know, doesn't get there. And so
if I would have told you that they were about to lose that game, how much would you have bet? If I would have told you that they needed a blocked field goal to win this game, would you have just locked button Hopkins?
I mean, if you would have told me that the Buffalo Bills were going to put up 30 points, 400 and something yards of total offense, I would have still played this lineup. And it's just, it didn't, the points, it was really frustrating if you had Bills guys this week.
Because Allen did miss Kincaid on a legit walk.
No, he didn't miss him. Kincaid missed it.
No, Allen missed him, bro.
I think it was one of those classic that Kincaid made the wrong read and slowed up. I don't think Allen missed him, but I was trying to be generous.
No, it hit his hands.
I think Kincaid is just cheeks. I just think he's a terrible player, honestly.
I think he might not be good, but here's the question, Nate. Here's the question. Does Amari out and Keon out really materially change the role?
It doesn't for Shakir. It does for Kincaid, in my opinion, because it means that they're much more likely to feature him at getting targeted when they play 12. That is my opinion.
Yes, I actually do think it does change. Even though it doesn't change the routes that he's going to run, it changes where Allen's going to throw the ball. And so
I agree with that.
It's not necessarily that I thought, Shakir and Kincaid are going to get these very diverse routes. It's more
it's the likelihood they get the ball.
Take those Coleman shots. Yeah, he's just not going to take those Coleman shots. And so, yeah, I really thought Kincaid and Shakir was just a mispriced. And I think the bigger thing is I struggle personally My projection of Taysom Hill is broken. I've never known how to project him. I don't understand like his volume projection.
Give him 4 targets, 1 pass attempt, and 4 carries.
Here's the thing: you can't
never
Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill is he's a field player. You got to know.
And so for someone like me, Taysom is just a leak. He's never going to enter into a structure for me that I feel good about. And when you talk about putting like thousands of dollars in the cash game, like I can't get Taysom there in the way that I
basically
so it's a leak. But I'm fine with that. Like
Leone projected him for 10 points, which that feels valid, but like you just have to know in your head that his TD probability is just really high. Like that you basically just have to weigh that when you're building teams, is that like the volume projection is pretty low, but the TD probability is like,
he's
like the number one TD probability guy
as any other tight end, right?
More.
Wait, when you have Dalton Kincaid right there at 4,400, who's going to see Josh Allen targets, and Josh Allen's going to put up 30 points. I mean, there's just I thought that was such a clear like edge that I was like, I felt good about it. It obviously didn't work, but I really did feel good when I locked and I saw the Kincaid versus Taysom ownership. I felt good about it. So it didn't work. And obviously I don't stand by my projection of Taysom. My projection of Taysom always looks terrible because I don't know.
Here's a good question. If Jamal Williams was tight end eligible and you knew he was going to play 35 snaps, would you play him at tight end at 4,000?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's not how I
think,
work.
Nate, I think he would. Nate, I think he would.
Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Did Jamal Williams play quarterback in high school by chance?
No. Taysom, people forget Taysom is 34 years old because he was the quarterback at BYU. So that is a forgotten thing about Taysom.
Did a solid couple-year mission. The other thing, and somebody said this in the chat though, Kincaid should have had that touchdown. He was wide.
He was wide open
for a stroll-in 30-plus yarder, and then he also got hurt.
30-yard.
And Dawson Knox ended up getting 3 targets, 2 catches for 40 yards on top of that. I'm not sure if that's like he stepped directly into the role. I wasn't watching, but man, I mean, Kincaid was this close to having a much bigger game.
Correct. Now, Kincaid, I think the thought process is fine. I think the lineup is fine. I do think Shakir over Hopkins is FPS. It's like Sammy. You had this. Sammy, say the line. You said this before the show. I can't believe how good this is.
So Davis, what did you say? You said if Rashee Rice was 5,300, you would play him. And I said, but Hopkins isn't Rashee Rice. Hopkins is Rashee Rice if you take away all the yak. He's just Rashee Rice until he catches the ball.
He finds the soft spot in the zone. He catches it and he sits down.
He just falls over. Yeah, he's got nothing. I mean, it's still a good play. It's worth 5,300 for sure. But I mean, you're also a Chiefs slappy, Davis. So let's be honest. I thought Shakir was a good play. I certainly prefer.
To be fair, I am biased against Shakir. I think he sucks, but he doesn't suck.
No, he doesn't suck. He's a PPR cheat code. I mean, he really is. He's going to catch 80+ balls this year. But I think the thing that drew me to Hopkins is I thought he had more upside. I think Hopkins, if you're at the goal line, you're on the board. Yeah, you're on the 4 or 5 yard line. Obviously, you're looking for Hopkins. Hopkins is in play in a way that like I don't think that the Bills really use Shakir that way.
No,
so,
Shakir's been a Bill for like 1 billion years and has like 4 touchdowns. Career. Shakir has been in the NFL since 2022. How many touchdowns does he have? He's got 5. So it's not really his thing. He's fine. I don't really think it was that bad. I err on the side of it being non-optimal, but not bad. All right, Sammy, lay it on the table. You did a version of playing Barkley over Kamara, but you laid it on the table. Tell the people what you did.
Well, I paid down at quarterback and in defense. So I went with Herbert at quarterback. I went with the Patriots D. At running back, I did Alvin Kamara and Aaron Jones. Receivers, I went Downs, Hopkins, Mitchell. And then I also played Kincaid at tight end. I thought Kincaid, to your point, Nate, I thought he had really an explosive upside in this game. I thought, that Kincaid, we saw in the second half of last season, his role kind of changed in terms of ADOT and how they used him down the field. And I thought with their deep guys out, they might use him in that regard. He was very, very close to a much bigger game. What I did 5 minutes before lock, if you look at like the value ratings on like ETR, Breece Hall was like the second best play. It was like I think it was Aaron Jones and Breece Hall were like elite values. And so I had Breece Hall in the flex. And as it turned out, I'm just sitting there and I kind of had the same feelings as Davis, where from a structural standpoint, I am not a believer in the Jets. I just,
same, big same.
Man, they just had such a probability of laying a fat ass egg. And I was like,
they do it every week. They do it. It's not
unreal.
A probability. They do it every week. They suck every week. It was a huge surprise they beat the Texans. Yeah.
Yeah. So
they have 3 wins. It's week 10.
Yeah,
they won 3 games.
They added Devontae Adams and somehow have gotten worse.
They got worse. It's unbelievable. Sammy, this is an example of where knowing ball really helps you in these contests, because you can't, if you're just a projection bro, you're never, ever, ever getting there. And obviously IK being the projections is going to be bad sometimes if you're like, I'm playing Barkley over Kamara, but this is an example of why it is a good idea to not just take your projection set of source as gospel. And you also deserve a dunk for the Patriots defense. I mean, that was
nah. That was.
I'm surprised you also didn't play Taysom, because that's where, like typically I would say, like, if you're going against projections, that's where you go. Like, I know ball, Taysom's going to get this.
Yeah.
But talk to me a little more about the Taysom Kincaid thing, because I understand the Kincaid thing clearly as like a projection guy, but
I mean,
talk about the I know ball side of this.
Yeah, I just thought Kincaid. I mean, Taysom's going to be touchdown dependent. That's what it comes down to. He is almost never going to get there if he doesn't score a touchdown. And I thought that Kincaid, especially with some of the deep targets for Buffalo being out, game being in a dome against a really bad defense, I thought that he had upside to get there without scoring a touchdown. And that was really it. And, I mean, frankly, just fit. I would have gone to Taysom if the rest of my lineup fit. You know what I mean? I had no qualms with Taysom. So I wouldn't say that Kincaid was like, I'm putting my foot down. I'm playing Kincaid no matter what. Same thing with the Patriots defense. I don't want to take a lot of credit for that. I was just willing to,
it was Taysom, Bears, Patriots, Kincaid. And you said, do you guys remember last year when I kept playing Kincaid at 3,200 and you guys were like, he's never going to get there?
No.
I played him running more routes than him.
I literally probably played him like 6 times in cash.
No,
whatever. He sucks.
You're directionally accurate. Never wrong, just early. But obviously the key, like, I don't trust the Jets. I do not trust Breece Hall. I am going to play Bijan Robinson instead. And so I played Bijan and I ran good. I mean, Bijan, his first touchdown was Algier got stuffed at the goal line thrice.
Yep.
3 times. And then they stopped the game. They called a timeout, I think. He broke off a long one, but I also think Bijan's passing game role has been really strong lately. I mean, he's got really 7 receptions in back-to-back games. They were playing, he's starting to hit that stride, and I just felt a lot more comfortable with Bijan than Breece, and obviously ran a little good there, but I think the Breece fade, we're all feeling that a little bit, and so I just came down on the right side of it. I'll be honest, like, if Saquon was the same price, Davis, I would have probably played Saquon.
Is this true? I mean? Taysom had a touchdown called back? I don't think so.
I don't
know if it was a touchdown, but it was a decent run. He had like a 20-yarder that he broke, I thought.
But I will say this. I was tilting because Kincaid, boom, like had a touchdown, easy walk in, didn't connect. Josh Downs dropped the easiest touchdown in the world. Nobody
Kamara dropped a 40.
Are you guys? Is this real?
Wait, really?
Taysom had a 90-yard.
Wait, really? I didn't see that.
I missed it.
I didn't see it. Oh shit.
Okay, this changes the context of the entire slate. Nate, you're a fucking loser. Nate, you're a fish. I can't believe you didn't play him. Unbelievable.
Gosh, I got so lucky. First
play of the game. First play of the
Oh
game.
my god! Can you imagine how different this show would be if that play had held?
Oh my!
Davis would be doing this show naked.
I played him a bunch in tournaments too. Oh,
oh my god, that's so brutal. And then to your point, Nate, Kamara had a long touchdown right in his basket and just dunked it. Like,
guys.
The Kamara one was brutal because it would have put him over the 100-yard bonus too. I mean, it was like a 15-point play.
Yeah. Oh, you're running. Oh my god.
Look at this.
Oh my god. No
Look
way.
at this, dude. Legitimate 90-yard touchdown. 90-yard touchdown. 90-yard touchdown. You guys escaped it.
Wow.
I mean, Kamara
been a very different day for us.
Kamara had a 60-yard touchdown in it. No penalty in his hands. He just dropped
it. That was wild. Wow.
I mean, I can't believe how much it's. I'm actually mad. I know this exists now. The rest of the show is just going to be Davis watching it on loop. Like, where's the hold? Where's the hold? Oh, that's so annoying.
There is the hold. He does wrangle the guy to the ground. So
whatever.
In fairness, that doesn't look like it's going to go for a 90-yard touchdown if the guy doesn't get lassoed to the floor.
Someone asked about the double tight end team that I thought was sharp that I didn't play.
Yeah, let's have it, Nate. This was
tight end
timer.
Well, no, this is the one that I should have played that I wasn't going to because it was Taysom. But I think the optimal, like when I saw this team, I'm like, oh, this is the optimal team. Was Herbert, Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara, Hopkins, Downs, Khalil Shakir, Taysom Hill, Cade Otton, and then Bears D.
That lineup would have gotten killed. No Connor. Terrible.
I know, but I'm saying I think that was the optimal, like pre-lock, that was the optimal team. I think going Taysom and Cade was, and then you got both Shakir and Hopkins. I think that was
so you weren't playing A.D. Mitchell, which I did fool around with some ideas of how to not play A.D. Mitchell. I'm gonna be honest.
I didn't consider not playing A.D. Mitchell for a moment. I thought he had in the first two games with no downs, 70% routes, 24% targets per route run. And that was with Richardson. With Flacco,
well, and he also like famously had 3 deep touchdowns or something like that just got missed.
Yeah. This is a great point. That's a great way to think about Taysom Hill. That a tight end is remotely capable of housing a 90-yard touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a tight end.
I'm not like sitting here denying that talent or his ability. I'm just saying like you have to know your leaks as a player, and projecting Taysom Hill is one of my leaks. I just don't have it in my, and it would take me. I don't have time to figure out how to make him work in my stuff. So it would be I would have to jam him in for him to be a play for me.
Yeah. All right. Let's do the tournament teams. All right. I actually had a decent team here today. This was in the smaller SPY. I played Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Kareem Hunt. Hunt was one of my big stands today. Basically, McCaffrey instead of Barkley or Kamara, Hunt instead of Connor or Aaron Jones. I played Garrett Wilson, who actually came in way lower owned than I thought he would be. Drake London was projected for 15 to 20% ownership, depending on where you looked. He was 2.8% owned. I played A.D. Mitchell. I played Juwan Johnson. Juwan Johnson is leverage on the Taysom teams. Idiot. You're an idiot. Just play Taysom, you idiot. And then I played George Kittle at flex, and I played the New England Patriots defense. Let me plug this into the. These are not the actuals, so it's not going to be 100% accurate. But basically, the thesis was I just wanted to take one out of Nate's book and do the the quarterback, running back, tight end correlation. I love this spot for the 49ers. I love this spot for Garrett Wilson. That ended up being a joke. I thought Mitchell was basically like you could have just played him everywhere. And I thought London, it was just crazy that no one wanted to play him. I mean, this 13% ownership is so far off. And then Kareem Hunt, that is also pretty self-explanatory. Like Kareem Hunt is just as likely to get 2 touchdowns as James Conner or as Aaron Jones, or actually probably more likely to get 2 touchdowns than Aaron Jones, given who Aaron Jones's teammates are. Nate, what do you think on this one?
Well, I think AD Mitchell was like one of the best plays of the slate when you look at the way ownership came in. So that's good. I think CMC and Wilson, their ownership was a little less than expected as well.
Yeah,
what did CMC come in at?
So look at this. I manually adjusted in my runs. I thought they were projecting him too low. I manually adjusted him to 32.
People were scared off by that report or something that Mason is going to be like.
Yeah, one of the all-time you had to have been an idiot to believe it reports that Shanahan would get McCaffrey back and not play him on every snap. You had to have been born yesterday.
Yeah, Shanahan's an all-time donkey, bro. Of course he's just like shipping all the chips in. Obviously, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, this team simmed out pretty well in my post in the post stuff. So yeah, I like this team a lot. I think the Garrett Wilson thing, overall Jets stuff, as much as I ripped on it in the cash game stuff, Jets simmed out really well in post lock stuff. Wilson, Rodgers, and Devontae and Brees came in.
So this simmed out on the solver at 20% sim ROI, but if I move Drake London to 2%, I bet it looks even better. And this one, I guess
fields when you do that. There's no way that you can user update just the fields that quickly.
No. But I mean, I guess this one was fairly close to us. Well, I could have had a sweat if London got the bonus and if McCaffrey had a receiving touchdown. Hunt is not too cute, bro. Hunt got 17 points without a touchdown, brother.
Dude, Hunt had the best workload of the week.
Yeah, he was an unbelievably good play. 5% for that type of workload. Like he has the same workload as James Conner, and James Conner was 4 times his owned. Yeah, I would play this again. This was a good team. I don't feel bad about any of these things. In fact, he's not even an integral part of this lineup, but Drake London, after being the chalk of all chalk last week's, like literally 30% owned last week in tournaments and then 2% owned this week. Like what is the deal, bro? What are we doing? Nate, I literally thought of you when I was clicking buttons on Drake London and Najee Harris this week of being like, these are the plays. These boring ass plays. Volume, who no one really wants. I mean, these are really the guys to play. Like the only fancy play in this lineup is Juwan Johnson, and I'm gonna look at the Saints box score. I bet he ran all the routes.
Yeah, honestly, this is the way to play. Like it's in tournaments. This is the way to play.
Run as many routes. He ran 16 routes, so not great. But
the one thing that this lineup doesn't have that, like, if it was a real Nate team, it would have is Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara.
I was going to say 49ers defense.
No, Alvin Kamara team is so underowned. For some reason,
you're missing about 2 Niners. You're missing Juwan Jennings and 49ers.
Juwan Jennings was in the Millie winner. I just looked. Yeah. I thought this was true. I thought elite tight end was a great way to play the slate because everyone played a lot of 2 tight end lineups, but they played 2 tight ends like Juwan Johnson and Hunter Henry. They played shitty tight ends, not Kelsey and McBride. Sammy, what do you got?
All right, we'll do my big spy team. If you notice
the 4,000 person entry.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you notice some vitriol in my voice about the Jets, this may or may not be why.
Oh no, did you do the Rodgers double?
Yeah, I did that. Rodgers, Breece Hall, and Devontae Adams.
Oh, I don't hate that.
Okay. James Conner.
Got the bring back in there.
Yeah. Christian McCaffrey.
Damn. So we all know ball. We all played McCaffrey.
Yeah. DeAndre Hopkins, AD Mitchell, Taysom Hill at tight end, and a 1-for-1 swap at 2,500. I used the Jaguars.
Yeah, I like that too. That was I thought that was sharp as well.
Yeah, I mean Sam Darnold is cheeks, bro.
Yeah, he is. With
the
I feel
very vindicated on this.
So sometimes by the time we have these shows up, they will have the actuals. These aren't the actuals, but I mean this is a great team. 97.8%.
Well, I mean the Sims do not know that Aaron Rodgers and the Jets are ass. That's the problem with the Sims. They have no idea that Aaron Rodgers is dust.
How owned was Rodgers? I didn't look.
Rodgers was 11.7.
Oh, so these are the actuals. Was Breece 19.5?
No, he was 10.9.
Okay. So that just means oh my God. Wow.
Yeah.
So if I guarantee you, if you put Breece at 10% in any of this sim stuff, they would have been like, wow, you're the greatest person. 900% sim ROI.
Yeah. That's awesome. This team barely scored more than 100 points, did not cash. But if you go down the actual ownerships, it's Rodgers at 12%, Connor at 12%, McCaffrey 17%, Devontae Adams 14%, Hopkins 31%, Mitchell 23%, Taysom 30%, Breece Hall 11%. And so that's I went with the Jaguars, which were 1.9. I thought that was like, I just looked at it and I was like, you know what? Like I really need like a really unowned hammer. And so that's why I went with the Jaguars and pivoted off.
Yeah, this is a Sklansky one like crazy. Yeah,
feels great.
Well, RFK said you're going to be able to turn Sklansky's in at Trader Joe's and at Whole Foods. So I think it's going to be like pretty good for our families. He said it's actually going to be considered legal tender.
Buddy, I'm going to be able to buy Whole Foods with my Sklansky bucks. Let's go.
No, it's so true. It's so true. Matt Collins, like the projections really wanted to get him, but like, come on, dude. You don't get normally the AD Mitchell guy is like a historically shitty guy, like Trey Quinn. Remember him for the Commanders? Trey Quinn.
Yeah, someone who doesn't have actual talent and ability. Where this guy,
not even Hardman. Like it would be like Justin Watson. It'd be like a Justin Watson.
Yeah,
Chris Hogan, great example. Yes, like just a guy, a wind sprinter.
Fucking wind sprint champion. Yeah.
Mitchell is literally the opposite of a wind sprinter. Like he is. I don't even know the right way.
First rounder in the NFL draft, right?
A wind sprinter is someone who you only hope gets there because they have enough volume. And AD is like in 2 routes, he could break the slate. The dude doesn't need volume to produce. And in this week, he actually was.
Yeah, Yoshi Voss, another one of just like guys who just exist. And if they get a touchdown, they're great or whatever. But yeah, I mean Mitchell. I mean, he was the play of the slate, I think. I
thought Mitchell was great.
Yeah. All right, Nathan. Let's close it out. What contest do you want me to pull up?
Well, my favorite lineup was also a Rodgers lineup. It was in the big power sweep.
God, so I hate to see this, Nate. I hate to see you go down like me.
I know it was tilting, but I had a ton of Rodgers. So it was Rodgers, Connor, CMC, Wilson, Adams, Downs, Juwan Johnson, Will Dissly, and Bears D.
See, so this is why this right here is why the elite tight ends were such jams, because people were playing Will Dissly and Juwan Johnson together.
Will Dissly had a touchdown.
Here's the thing: Will Dissly not only had a touchdown. Will Dissly is legitimately a volume guy.
No, he is. He is.
knowing that Herbert was going to be owned, I thought that the Disley move with Herbert was going to get.
I'm not making fun of you specifically. I'm making fun of you in the aggregate.
Yeah, am I to understand that you guys both put Juwan Jennings in
Juwan Johnson?
Juwan Johnson? Yeah,
yes,
not
Juwan
Juwan Jennings.
He's a
Wow.
dude. He's a college wide receiver. Don't you know he played wide receiver at Oregon? Basically, they were so down on wide receivers. He was basically playing wide receiver.
Dude, he can like dunk. He's like an athlete. He's a legitimate.
I mean, look at this wide receiver route. I mean, technically he did. He ran the fourth most routes on the team, one behind Taysom. I mean, look at this. Kevin Austin Jr., brother. You don't know who that is. No one knows who that is. Kevin Austin Jr.'s parent. Kevin Austin Sr. doesn't know who Kevin Austin Jr. is. That was news to Kevin Austin Sr. that he was in the National Football League.
So yeah, I had way too much Rodgers, Devontae, and I had a ton of Jets this week. It didn't work, but this lineup I felt really, really good about. I mean, yeah, I'd play this one again.
Wow, we are swimming in the Sklansky bucks, boys.
It was a really good Sklansky week. I would have played. Here's the deal. I would have played Mason Tipton if he was 3,300. Mason Tipton
was like 48.
He was 1,100 more DraftKings dollars than AD Mitchell.
Yeah,
yeah, unplayable. Sorry,
unplayable.
Ooh,
I've seen.
I guess we should have played Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Who knew?
Well, yeah. All you had to do is get him off the Chiefs, and boom.
Yeah, just get him some he just needs a quarterback, you know.
Yeah.
His quarterbacks, Rodgers, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. Nope. Derek Carr. I did not play any MVS. No MVS for me.
I could have made 700 lineups, and I don't think the
teams I played today were Purdy doubles, Rodgers doubles, Flacco doubles, Herbert doubles, a Mac Jones double, a Mahomes double, and a Cousins double.
Mac Jones double.
Yep.
You start smoking weed again?
Dude, Mac Jones, brother, 4,400. You play whoever you want. You can play Justin Jefferson and Saquon Barkley in the same lineup, which I did.
I'm guessing that's Hunter Henry and Jalen Polk.
I played. Brother, Mac Jones is a Jaguar.
Oh my God, that's right.
He started at quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars today.
Trevor Lawrence, yeah, and
that's right.
He was going against the Vikings D, who's going to be blitzing a ton, and he was just going to have to throw it deep for his life.
Sharp then.
Played Juwan Johnson on that lineup too. A lot of Juwan Johnson for me today.
What's
you should not be
here?
You faded Melton in NBA tonight, though.
I literally just play for the crowns. I'm not paying attention.
You guys are massive gal brainers. Holy shit.
Melton is in DeAnthony Melton?
Yeah. He was the chalk smash of the day.
Oh, all right.
3,100.
No, oh shit. Okay, I was really not paying attention. I mean, I literally didn't even pull projections. I got the notification before, DraftKings does the notification when you reserve the contest.
Oh, yeah.
And it was an hour before, and I was like, I don't have time for this. I can't go look at anything. I'm just firing. So I hope Ryan Dunn is who I need tonight.
We've now devolved into the NBA DFS portion of the show.
Well, there's nothing to talk about
out of here. Before we get out of here, just shout out to the Whirling Dervish. Won the 3-man highest simmed GPP team. I mean, big weekend for your boy. Let's go.
You love to see it. Shout out to Jewish McCaffrey, who did win a dog bowl seat on Underdog. Absolutely sickening. The winner of the Battle Royale this week on Underdog, just the most easy to draft chalk team. Totally easy to see how you get, just sickening stuff to have not gotten there. Jalen Hurts on his own. Drake London, George Pickens, Bijan, Connor, and Kelsey. Just incredibly easy to get. And
woof.
was not found in my account. All right, let's get out of here. Everyone, thank you very much for listening. If you're listening to this on the Roto Grinders Fantasy Football Podcast feed, reminder that you can watch this live on Sunday nights on YouTube, youtube.com/@Davis_Mattek. And we will be back next week. Adios. It's Short King Summer, dude. It just feels like no one in fantasy sports ever learns anything. Does he mistime it, or is Brock Bowers just a grown man? Brock Bowers is just a grown man. Dare I say, Rich, football might be back. In the words of Lane Johnson, this offense looks constipated. It's Short King Summer.